I was recently asked to deconstruct the morning routine. Now, this is such an interesting question because, as a fairy, my dad and my brothers and all of the real estate agents that we've worked with for now 50 years, the morning routine has always been one of the most powerful solutions to helping them to have higher performance, more focus, a better mindset, better well-being, and more success in life. It's always been one of the big solutions to all of the problems. So, here I am. I was asked to do a little bit of deconstruction of the morning routine, and it just forced me to think of all of the things that I've learned over the years. And I want to summarize those things into 3 things with you today and make sure that you have access to those. Number one is that you got to make a decision around what time you're going to go to bed and what time you're going to wake up. Now, I remember the first time I heard this, I was like, that's kind of stupid, and that it should be very routine. And I was like, I don't really like that. But let me add some nuance to that. I think also we want to look at what are some of the best disciplines and routines to add to the evening routine that make A, sleep better, and B, when you get up early in the morning, you don't have to think that much. So check this out. So what can you do at night? So could you prepare the coffee, the tea in advance? Could you put your clothes out in advance? Could you kind of prepare a few of the first couple of moves? I like to get my supplements and my coffee and get everything ready to go and my clothes so that that's all done at night in advance. Now, what can I do for my health to make sure I have better sleep? Well, I could stop eating a little earlier, stop drinking a little earlier, more water, great tea. That kind of puts me into a good state for better sleep, right? So what I learned is set a rule and then give yourself a few options to make it a better experience, but really set up your morning so that you can just wake up and go into the motion of it. So now that gives me an opportunity to wake up earlier and not have to hem and haw, right? Like a lot of the, should I not get up? How do I feel? I don't feel great. Blah, 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 blah. A lot of that stuff goes away if I did it right in the evening, allowing me to get up earlier. And as we all know, if you get up earlier, the game is already won, and now you can go off and running. So go to bed, evening, what are 2 or 3 things that you can add to make this a better experience for you? So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is really the physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, what can we do to stack the morning with some amazing things to do that would put you into a peak state? So couple simple things, okay, physical, could you do a little yoga? Maybe physicals also includes maybe grab some coffee so you get a little caffeine. I used to do my CrossFit mornings, I do my pre-workout, right? And that basically put me physically and mentally into a peak state. And then I go work out, and then I was pretty much ready to crush the day. But, leverage some of the tools of today, so breathing, yoga, stretching, some push-ups, just, something, walk the dog to physically get yourself into a great state. Then, of course, mental. So, could you read something? Could you work on a productivity journal or a life journal? Could you watch a YouTube video? Could you listen to a podcast? Something that just kind of feeds your mind with quality information and content that would have you, see the world in a new way today, give you more ideas to be able to solve problems in your life. Right? So what are you doing mentally to get yourself into a state where you're instead of just ruminating about all of things going on in your life, what happened yesterday and all this crap that just kind of goes through your head, what can we do to feed it? Now, this is where also meditation kicks in. And I just heard a really good interview with Naval Ravikant and Tim Ferriss. And Naval was basically saying, look, if you just sit for 60 minutes. Now, first of all, sit for 60 minutes. I haven't done it since he said it, but I've been inspired by the idea. But he said, if you just sit for 60 minutes, in the first 30 minutes, you'll process a lot of information. But after you get past that 30 minutes, you start to go into this more settled state. And he said, that's where the magic lies. But he said, most people don't meditate because they think that they should not be processing a lot of information in the beginning. And so I found personally that when I just sit for 10 or 15 minutes in the morning after I've had a sip of coffee, after I did my yoga, and I'm just kind of getting myself mentally prepared for the day. If I sit, I process a lot of interesting stuff, and I've actually gained a lot of really inspiring thoughts and ideas. So is that meditation? Yeah. So I was so thankful for uh, Naval to say that that was meditation, because what most people would think is, oh no, I'm not meditating because I'm thinking about all these things. So again, physical, mental, emotional. Emotional, I think we all know, is really in the gratitude. So if we can think about what we're grateful for, and we think deeply about some of the small things and some of the important people and some of the things that are universally conspiring to help our lives get better, and to be grateful for that, I think that emotionally gets us in a great space, right? What else can you do? And then of course is spiritually. So whether or not spiritual is prayer or, spiritual text that you would want to spend some time with and to think on, what can you do to stack the deck in the morning with all of these amazing things that we could be doing, from physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. Okay. Next, number 3 is, how do we start our business day? Okay. And this is where I think a lot of the work has been done for me recently, is more like, okay, when I look at the day, there's so many things that I should be learning. There's so many should do. Then there's the tasks that I have absolutely must do. Then there's the big projects. There's so much going on. There's the clients that I need to be serving, right? The things that I need to be learning and the obligations that I have. It's like overwhelming. And I think most people today have a sense of overwhelm when they're going into their business day. So one solution to this that I found to be very valuable is to look at the big picture, look at the goals, look at your business plan, right? Maybe look at my quarterly goals, my monthly goals, maybe look at this week's goals if you wrote that down. Okay, then take a look at the calendar, look back, look forward into the calendar. What happened, anything I need to follow up on, what's coming that I need to be aware of. Look at maybe some of my big projects. Is there anything I'm going to do or not do today? What's going on my task list here of things that absolutely must get done today, or if there's things that are optional that I could push off to later. Then I come back to my calendar for today, and then I make some decisions about what's going to get done. From this powerful perspective of seeing all of this, all of that, now I can make a really high quality decision about what gets done when. And I think that process helped me to kind of reduce some of the stress and anxiety, right? And it'll also help me to eliminate a lot of the whoops, I double booked myself, or whoops, I forgot about that thing, or whoops, I forgot to follow up on that thing. So, which also reduces a tremendous amount of stress. And so I found more peace when I started my business day with a routine that allowed me to see everything and make some powerful decisions. So in wraps, I hope this was helpful. A is, what can you do to set up your evening and your morning to make it easier to actually go to bed earlier and get better sleep and wake up earlier? Number 2, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, what can you add into that? I love what Tim Ferriss said. He says, I have 5 things that make an amazing morning. And he's all, I just have a minimum standard that I do 1 every day. And I really appreciated that, because there's no such thing as perfection. You're not going to do all 5 things every single morning. There's never a perfect evening or a perfect morning, but there's these little things that we do. The more we do it, the easier it is, and the more we get done, and the better our life gets because of this process. And then last but not least is setting yourself up for success for the business day. So what do you need to do, right? Is it a journal process? So I've been playing with all the different journals to try and figure out, hey, how do I write out my goals and review my plans and review my tasks, review my projects, see my calendar all in a glance that allows me to make very powerful decisions about what I'm going to do today. And so I've been playing with a lot of the different journals to make my life easy. Tom does a lot of the whiteboard stuff. He has a lot of stuff going with his whiteboard. Then he does journaling. So what's a good workflow for you? So before you check your email, before you start, making phone calls to your clients, that you set your day up powerfully so that you can continue to grow your business. The main quote that I picked up recently is, The quote that I've started to think about is, when we're all so busy right now, when we get a free 30 minutes to an hour in your calendar, how you choose to use that time is the determining factor of the growth of your business. So how you use that time is a very important business decision. So how do you come to the conclusion of that business decision is really the game that we're talking about. I hope this was helpful on morning routines. Let me know if I can help you out with anything. All the best.